Dear councillors, my name is Dr. Keval, and I'm a dental surgeon residing in the borough. I would like to begin my question by very briefly highlighting two important facts. The first of these is that the scientific evidence is clear that eating animals has a much higher environmental impact than eating plant foods. With respect to greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, and land use, plant-based foods are consistently more sustainable and have a much, much lower carbon, energy, water, land, and waste footprint. The second fact is that the Dacorum Council has declared an ambitious climate target of being net zero as an organization by 2030, and net zero as a borough by 2050. Positive steps have already been made in achieving this goal in many areas, and this should be commended, but far more needs to be done, especially in light of the research carried out by the World Wildlife Fund that discovered that all wildlife is projected to go extinct by 2026 if we carry on consuming the way we are. And if the wildlife die, so will the forests and the oceans, both of which are vital for our own survival, through the provision of oxygen, the sequestration of excess carbon dioxide, the regulation of the planet's climate, and maintenance of the water cycle. Absent in the Council's climate strategy is reference around the types of food eaten in the borough, despite the fact that changes in diets are one of the most significant ways that people can reduce their climate impact. The 2021 National Food Strategy recommends a shift towards a plant-based diet for the health of both people and the planet. The Council has an important part to play in encouraging this shift in the borough. My question, therefore, is, in light of the climate and ecological emergencies that is threatening survival of all life on Earth, will the Council commit to 100% plant-based internal catering? Other councils across the country have made similar commitments. Calderdale, Exeter, Oxfordshire. I believe that such a commitment is a logical next step following the declaration of a climate emergency, and a step that would send a powerful message to residents and businesses across the borough about the importance of a more sustainable diet. I urge the Council to seriously consider leading by example in making this commitment. Considering what is at stake, this is not a big ask at all. But the very least we need to do is to save the world as we know it and leave behind a planet that our succeeding generations can hopefully survive on.
Councillor Allen, I think you're going to answer.
Thank you for your question. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do not intend to be completely plant-based in our catering because we believe that sustainability is multifaceted and we strive to balance various aspects of ecological responsibility in our food choices. To this end, we endeavour to ensure that any catering undertaken by DBC on our premises is sustainably sourced, healthy, and minimises impact on the climate and ecological emergency by avoiding meat and fish products. This is largely in place. DBC does not host many catering events, but where we do, we often provide a completely vegetarian menu, such as the Dacorum Climate Action Network event. We've also been determined to provide sustainably sourced food wherever we can. This includes prioritising locally produced, organic, and ethically sourced ingredients that align with our environmental goals. Several of the fundraisers hosted by the Mayor in 2023-4, for example, the Mayor's Green Quiz Night, provided locally sourced vegetarian menus. Moving forward to show its leadership in addressing the climate and ecological emergency, DBC's catering on its own premises will be completely meat and fish free from 2025. I hope that answers your question.
Have you got a supplementary question you'd like to ask?
Yes, thank you so much. I sincerely commend the Council's plans to provide sustainably sourced vegetarian meals from 2025. However, the provision of vegetarian menus is not equivalent to plant-based, as we already know, and the continuing to include dairy products can neither be considered sustainable, nor will it send out the right message to enable society to achieve the net zero carbon scenario that we're all aiming for in response to the climate emergency. And please allow me to explain why. Firstly, the dairy industry is responsible for the release of one of the highest levels of methane and nitrous oxide compared to other industries. Unfortunately, the effects of these two signature greenhouse gases are often downplayed by organizations like Dairy UK, who are meant to provide evidence-based information to the UK Parliament to dictate policymaking. To put this into context, methane, when released, is 120 times more powerful a greenhouse gas compared to carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide is 300 times more powerful. In fact, according to the new report by the Institute for Agriculture...
Sorry, have you got a question? Because it's meant to include a question.
So my question is, will the Council be willing to work with members of the public like myself to discuss further on how we can work together to transition away from dairy and eggs? And I understand the fact that we believe or we think that it is sustainable, and we think that local is enough, we think that organic is enough. From the research that I've been doing for many, many years, unfortunately, this will not be enough to stave off the worst of what is to come. This is not an us versus them issue, this is about working together. So that is the question.
So the Council has a very strong working relationship with the Dacorum Climate Action Network. We are looking to make that as engaging and consultative as possible so that the Council can be responsive to the opinion and strength of feeling on such issues within the borough. And so I'm quite happily to commit that we will keep this discussion live within the Dacorum Community Action Network